birth to this, a massive firenado. Touchdown Saturday near the Nevada border. Not seen in California since 2018, when the strongest tornado in state history emerged out of the Carr Fire. An EF3 with over 136 mile-per-hour winds. The size of the latest firenado is unclear.
In many cases have not either, because during a pandemic, not very many people are willing to leave their homes and go to a crowded shelter. That's been another challenge this fire season that we haven't seen in the past. We've seen more people evacuating, sitting in their cars, sleeping in their cars instead of going to shelters, or just risking it and staying in their homes. And that takes those fire crews away from actually fighting the fires to effecting rescues. And we know of at least 4 deaths among civilians who weren't able to get out in time. So the next few days will be very telling.
The fire swept through his property early yesterday morning, but Dilso Baltazar is still racing to put out hot spots.
I need to put out that fire. I need to take care of the property. I need to put out the hot spots. It's in my property.
Baltazar had to sneak in past the roadblocks to get to his place today. Without any firefighters in sight, he says he must take matters into his own hands onto the flames.
Let the homeowner take care of their own property, if you guys cannot.
While he lost a barn, a few cars, and his wine cellar, his house is still standing, and he wants to keep it that way. He says it wasn't firefighters who saved his house, but his neighbor, Mike Johnson, who noticed the house start to catch fire.
The 5 redwood posts that are holding up the front of this property were on fire.
Johnson's own house and brand new boat were fully engulfed. Realizing he couldn't do anything to save his place, he pitched in to help his neighbor.
I'm standing in Vacaville at what used to be the house of the former Solano County Administrator. Take a look at this. This used to be his garage, his swimming pool, his house back there. This right here was a brand new $200,000 boat parked in front of his garage. All of it went up in flames. Now, he was here to watch it all, and he and other neighbors out here say they have had to jump into action themselves.
His own house and brand new boat were fully engulfed. Realizing he couldn't do anything to save his place, he pitched in to help his neighbor.
We're back here live. You're looking at Mike Johnson's place. He is the former administrator of Solano County. He has had this place for 28 years and really poured his heart and soul into it. He said he had an antique collection that he has been collecting for about 50 years, sculptures and valuable items, and all of it is just melted and gone. He hasn't been able to salvage anything. But, you know, the great thing in all of this is, well, there haven't been a lot of firefighters. I mean, firefighters cannot get to every home. Now, in addition to losing his house, Mike Johnson also lost his treasured antique collection. This is all that's left of it. Well, the only thing that he can really salvage out here. Again, there are families that have lost everything, and unfortunately, a Solano County family who has lost the most important thing, a loved one. We got that confirmation.
Relentless heat and repeated lightning strikes have set the state ablaze. Countless homes have been destroyed.
We left, and this is what we came home to today.
In the state's famous Napa and Sonoma wine regions, less than 10% of the LNU Lightning Complex fire is contained. Firefighters have taken to the air to fight back. On the ground, electric power lines are sparking and gas tanks erupting.
You could hear this swirling or swishing of air and just going crazy and explosions going off.
The infernos are taking their toll as state officials put out a call for more help. Crews from 10 other states are on their way.
Sorting through what the fires leave behind has become a regular part of life in California.
How was my room? How was my bed?
People in Sonoma County have to make a choice. Live with the risk or leave for good.
Good evening, Nora. This is one of the many buildings that have burned in these fires. They've counted almost 500 so far. 2 of these fires are larger than 200,000 acres, and that puts them in the top 10 largest fires ever in the state. Firefighters statewide continue to battle raging wildfires. The flames already scorching an area nearly 3 times the size of Los Angeles and killing at least 5 people. The governor says resources are stretched thin. More than 12,000 lightning strikes have been sparking new fires, and they're igniting in places that haven't burned in more than a century, even threatening the ancient redwoods. Meantime, more than 60,000 residents still can't return home. When the flames reached his wood shop, he scrambled to save his motorcycle parked inside.
It fell on top of my leg. I couldn't get it off me.
I remember screaming, but knowing no one was here.
What were you thinking?
I don't want to go this way. I'm not ready to go.
He escaped and saved his home, but this carpenter's livelihood is gone. This is the motorcycle that he was pinned under, a Harley Davidson that weighs almost 1,000 pounds. Now, he says the walls were on fire when he was finally able to wriggle out. The weather is cooling down a little bit. That's good news.
Crews working around the clock to get a handle on some of the largest fires in state history. The president signing a disaster declaration, releasing federal aid to help exhausted crews on the ground. And nearby, a haunting sight. Hundreds of ancient trees inside California's oldest state park decimated. A permanent scar serving as a painful reminder of the fire's terrifying power.
Steve, it's so disturbing.
The unrelenting inferno tearing through the Santa Cruz Mountains in San Mateo County took down more structures tonight, now totaling at least 115, as hundreds more firefighters joined the fight from other states.
We're not trying to put any community out.
Taking a fresh look at the damage from the CZU lightning complex fire raging in Santa Cruz County. This video from the Boulder Creek area where more homes went up in flames this morning. Fire's footprint stretches from southern San Mateo County into Santa Cruz County, where most of the firefight is taking place.
A small spot fire turned into a big threat for the Sequoia Retreat Center in Ben Lomond this morning. Flames surrounding the property. About a dozen volunteer firefighters and the Menlo Park Fire Department spent a few hours to put it out. Homes on Brook Lane and West Park Avenue in nearby Boulder Creek.
It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster.
Fast-moving flames chased the Roach family out of their Bonnie Doon home.
The largest wildfires in California's history. A new milestone. More than 1 million acres burned. Tens of thousands of people forced out of their homes. ABC's Kaylee Hartung.
This morning, dramatic new images. Homes engulfed in flames as two of the largest fires in California's recorded history burned more than 1 million acres across the state. Homes and cars charred. Another round of lightning strikes expected today, ramping up the danger for firefighters. Nearly 12,000 strikes in the past week, responsible for sparking hundreds of fires.
We do have some incoming weather that is very concerning to us.
Hotspots like these are a real concern. This heat is extreme. The smoke is incredibly thick, fearing they'll come home to nothing.
The ground is still hot.
And heavy winds spread flames across nearly 1 million acres of the state. Today, forecasters say those same conditions are primed to add more fuel to the fire. In Northern California, crews are battling some of the biggest fires in state history. Monster flames devouring homes and forcing tens of thousands to flee. At least 5 people have died.
I'm just trying to, save this neighborhood we have.
Firefighters now running on fumes.
In California, take a look. Firefighters are battling hundreds of wildfires sparked by a historic lightning siege. 13,000 firefighters are on the front lines, but it isn't enough. More than 100,000 people have been forced to evacuate. At least 500 homes and structures have already been lost.
More than 13,000 firefighters responding across the state, facing multiple threats.
The erratic winds, the steep terrain, the heavy fuel, the trees that are falling, that's one of the biggest hazards out here.
Resources stretched thin. 10 states sending fire crews and equipment to help.
Firefighter help is on the way. That includes the National Guard. But lightning is also on the way here. The wildland fire burning in Santa Cruz and San Mateo counties has burned 71,000 acres and is 8% contained. Better mapping has given a more accurate accounting of the number of acres consumed. So far, 129 structures and homes are destroyed. A couple hours ago, red flag warning went into effect. The city of Santa Cruz is preparing for the worst, but remain cautiously optimistic that its community of 65,000 residents won't need to evacuate.
Major wildfires threatening thousands of homes and blanketing the region with dangerous smoke. More hot weather today is likely to make conditions even harder for firefighters. Fires are burning out of control all over California, including around a dozen of 1,000 acres or more. Carter Evans is in Vacaville. Carter, what do you see there now?
Well, good morning. The wind has stopped for now. It's calm, and that's good news because it's keeping these flames from spreading further. Late last night, flames tore through the Santa Cruz Mountains south of San Francisco, part of what's known as the CZU lightning complex fires. At least 3 of California's wildfires are each now greater than the size of 20,000 football fields. as many areas swelter under record-breaking triple-digit temperatures. This mobile home park in Vacaville was destroyed among at least 50 structures that were consumed by flames as the so-called LNU lightning fire tore through the community.
I mean, the entire thing was on fire.
Farm owner Rhonda Petrillo says she and her family narrowly escaped, but much of her livestock was lost.
I went outside. It was the roar of the fire that I'd never heard anything like that in my life.
What did it sound like?
Like a locomotive.
Just continuous.
It was freaky scary.
3 fires burning north, east, and south of San Francisco. 5 people have been killed as hundreds of square miles have been scorched, obliterating any structure in its path.
California is on fire. Hundreds of wildfires burning at once have ravaged more than 1,200 square miles this week. Imagine a quarter of LA County gone.
We literally ran out with, no shoes. I was on.
The LNU Lightning Complex fire burning in Napa and Sonoma counties is already the second largest fire in California history, topping 300,000 acres in just 4 days. 4 people have been killed, nearly 500 buildings destroyed, and evacuations stretching into 5 counties. Some ignoring evacuation orders, forming their own amateur fire brigades armed with hoses and chainsaws.
The rednecks are taking control. Step aside.
Some fires are simply being left to burn. One area that did get a lot of attention was Berryessa Estates in Napa County. More than 100 homes were threatened.
So I'm going to go ahead and pan around here. Again, there's another home right there. Another home involved.
Triple-digit temperatures, just trying to get those flames under control. NBC News correspondent Jennifer Bjorklund reports from Vacaville.
Allison, so many fires they can't keep an accurate count as dozens of smaller fires are bunched into larger fires, which they're calling complex fires. Now, those fires they're working very hard to get a handle on, but as you can see, they lost the battle with many properties overnight. Testing fire crews to the limits, threatening thousands of homes, these fires are. Leave those homes behind. Many won't have anything to return to. Injuries transported to hospitals, but again, these fires, all bad news over the next couple of days.
More than 500 structures have been destroyed. More than 100,000 people are under evacuation orders, and at least 6 people have been killed. The fires were sparked by lightning earlier this week. It is making the air unhealthy to breathe around the San Francisco Bay Area. For more, we caught up with Bay Area News Group reporter Julia Sulik yesterday. She was in the town of Bonnie Doon.
And lightning in California is such a thrill for Northern Californians because we never see it. And admiring the lightning on Sunday night, and here they are, it's become so destructive. And all these tiny little fires everywhere. It's essentially ringing Silicon Valley. Down the valley and the mountains, the Santa Cruz Mountains to the south, there's fire burning. As a matter of fact, right across the street from me, there's fires on the east side of Silicon Valley. A few miles from the Pacific Ocean. It's a little mountain community, winding roads, and people here are staying behind. Many, I mean, the whole place has been evacuated, but there's dozens of people still here.
Surged in a relentless march of flames. Hardest hit, the north, where the state's largest fires are churning through wine country, incinerating homes, reducing whole neighborhoods to piles of rubble and ash.
Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no.
Krista Petrillo-Hafner lost most of her livestock, including her horses and goats, as the flames swept through her parents' ranch.
The devastation is it's amazing.
Destroying more than 500 structures, forcing the evacuations of thousands. At least 5 people have died.
It's just been fire after fire. I mean, it's crazy.
I've never seen something like this in 34 years, fighting fire.
The governor saying nearly all of the state's firefighting resources have been exhausted, forcing officials to call in help from 10 states and 2 countries, devouring homes and forcing the evacuations of thousands. But right now, his concern are those on the ground.
Right now at 8, firefighters battling flames and fatigue as fires continue to sweep across the Bay Area. Tonight, some progress, but another potential threat is looming.
Homes and other buildings are threatened. 115 buildings have been destroyed, about 20 more than reported yesterday. But with more inspections, teams patrolling the weekend, firefighters believe that number will go up.
As the Walbridge fire continues to burn in the rugged terrain of Sonoma County, surrounding communities are being told to evacuate, as it's the first time these winds have shifted in this direction. But they prepared for this possibility, specifically doing airdrops in parts of Sonoma County. However, that possibility of dry lightning coming to the area in less than 24 hours is a cause for concern.
Those fires obviously just grew from the locations they were at, and then were wind-driven in kind of that southeasterly direction. So there's been a significant amount of fire growth since those lightning fires ignited into the kind of southeast areas. Is probably why you're not seeing any actual lightning strikes inside the perimeter.
Okay, coming up at 8:30, we're talking air quality. Of course, a big effect on air quality, but we'll show you just how much the air quality has changed.
California hasn't seen anything like this in years.
A number that firefighters say is expected to go up as more teams inspect the aftermath this weekend. CAL FIRE says it was in Ben Lomond today and is strategically fighting the fire.
The latest on California's wildfire emergency, a series of massive fires burning up to 1,000 acres an hour are blamed for at least 5 deaths. Tens of thousands of people in Northern California have been told to leave their homes. Satellite images show heavy smoke and ash, which made the Bay Area's air quality the worst in the world.
Well, good morning. This is one of the many homes that was destroyed. It's really unrecognizable. This fire was so hot, you can see how it melted this glass here. It looks like this came from a window. Now, in addition to the 5 people who died, at least 30 firefighters and other civilians have been injured.
More than 560 wildfires are burning across California right now, many sparked by nearly 12,000 lightning strikes since last weekend. So far, the fires have burned more than 1,200 square miles. The fires are threatening tens of thousands of homes, and some doubled in size within 24 hours. Governor Gavin Newsom declared a statewide emergency.
California leaders say more help is on the way. 10 states are sending in additional engines and crews on the ground.
Neighborhoods around Vacaville. Marissa Duro is a nurse who lost 5 of her 6 horses.
That's the house that burned down, and Ava, the brother-in-law, Rob, was able to get back to the house because he didn't leave the canyon completely. He bunkered down in an empty field until he could get back to the house.
Fire siege with more lightning expected tonight as more than 14,000 exhausted firefighters battle nonstop flames. In California's wine country, the LNU complex fire is relentless and destroying nearly 900 structures and threatening 30,000 more.
Mystery, are you happy?
Like he said a name. Julian, did you hear it? Julian. Who is Julian? Are you Julian?
Let's hear it.